What are some things you'd only know by growing up poor? Pre-cut Christmas trees are free on Christmas Eve. I remember the Christmas tree hunt on Christmas Eve was like our little family tradition. We would drive around in the evening looking for stores that still had trees sitting out front. 9 times out of 10, when we would ask about the tree we were interested in, they would say just take it, glad to get rid of them by that point. Every year we had a perfectly beautiful tree and it was exciting to find perfect trees for free and then stay up late decorating it with homemade glitter pine cones and candy canes. If you send a bad check to the utilities company on a Friday, you have power for the weekend. And if it gets returned, you still have a week or so until they realize it. Back in the 90s I would deliberately put my bank account into overdraft so I could have a few $100 to meet some needs. It was a strategy. We should write a book on how to be poor. Most gas station attendants will not stop a small child from stealing toilet paper from their bathrooms. Who knew? I used to work at a gas station. I look the other way for a lot of crap. Everyone is struggling and I don't give a crap if a kid steals a candy bar or gets a free IC. One man didn't have enough money for a lighter, so I said wait till I turn around. Go walk to the door, light the cig, throw the lighter on the ground, and walk out. IDK about in other states, but in MN they can't shut your power off during the winter because of the danger of someone freezing to death in their house. So that was a good time to try to catch up on some other bills you are way behind on too. They just passed the law in Arizona where it is the other way around starting next summer due to it being 100 plus all day and night regularly. Everybody is curious to see how it is going to play out. How good a butter tortilla is. Government cheese. Doing your laundry in a bathtub using only cold water. BC the gas was shut off. Trying to spend the night at your friend's house. BC they had food and a warm room. Thanks Nikki. Loving going to school because you can at least eat there. Trips to Goodwill for new clothes. Showers at school because at least 3 water was warm. Being made fun of because you smelled like kerosene. Having lice and no one doing anything about it. Going to school with bruises. BC your parents took their crappy decisions out on you. I'm so grateful to a handful of people that saw potential in me. I went to college, got a great job, and broke the cycle. Thanks Tom and Tony. That sometimes your parents sacrifice everything they have, including their sanity just to see you happy, and you only learn later in life the soul-crushing existence of poverty. Then you wonder how they managed to do so much with so little. For reals. I was 30 when I realized what mom meant when she told us kids to go ahead and eat because she ate in the kitchen. Pizza nights are the best birthday present you could ever fricking get. A whole pizza, ordered exactly how you like it, and you get to have more than one slice. When I was about 10, my older brother was working as some kind of technician and he secretly took me along on a trip to check some equipment in a different city. We had Pizza Hut for dinner 2 nights in a row with the company card and I remember being in absolute heaven. Food stamp paper change. When I was a kid, if you used food stamps they would give back the change in food stamp form. My mom was too proud to publicly use them, so she would make up a reason to leave and I would have to pay using them. I was 11 or so. She did it every time. I had to learn to keep my head up. My mother would send me into the store with $20 1-foot stamps. I would stand at the register and get the 95 cents change for each 5-cent gum, one at a time. They figured out what I was doing and started laughing, but they let me do it. The shame was not nearly as bad as dealing with mama without her methadone. I was 11 too. On the bright side, nothing embarrasses me now. When you get home and see a yellow notice hanging off your door, you're fricked. It's always on a Friday to say you're out of luck until Monday. Witness to the adage how much you really do have. Major fire wiped out several $100 million homes. Heat generated left rubble of 2-story homes only feet high. Families devastated. I still see the face of one man so completely shattered. I wondered if he would live to be able to rebuild. I later was in the command post area when I was approached by a young girl and her father. The dad couldn't speak English, so the girl would translate. My family wants to know if this is where we can bring donations for the people whose houses burned down. To my working knowledge, none had been established at that point. Her father talks, she translates. Can we leave it here? Many roads are being closed. and were not familiar with this part of town, I walk with them to their car, a much older Beater, the mom and a couple of siblings in it. Dad opens the trunk, and together, we all bring out couple cases of water, canned and dry food, adult and child clothing, some used toys, and prepared food, almost listed when each kid handed me their toys. Little girl, we have so much stuff and we want to share with those families. Not to ask their parents for stuff. I felt so guilty asking for clothes or other school needs. It also made me dread class art projects, especially in non-art classes. Yeah, it's only $20 worth of crafts, but that's money we need for real life. What hunger really is. I remember waiting for my dad's payday for the grocery shopping trip and being absolutely ravenous when the food got there. I don't remember which day of the week it was, but we'd go on the day that the most free samples were available. What it's like to be told you think you're just better than us because my mom valued education and prioritized it so we could do better for ourselves. Going into pawn shops to find the things your aunt stole from you and pawned to get Greek money. Knowing which family members you had to hide medicine, your purses, and other valuables from when they would visit. The embarrassment of whipping out the Monopoly money food stamps. The taste of government peanut butter. What it's like to use the same bath water as your siblings because running a new tub of water is a waste. The excitement of a trip to the day-old bread store. The ubiquitousness of the concept of need versus want. What it's like to sit at the dinner table emptying piggy banks to help your mom pay bills. Holding your mom quietly the amazingly few times she'd break down crying at the end of the day. How to cook with the government surplus cheese. Knowing the cheapest thing on the menu at every restaurant. For when your friend's family invites you out to dinner, even though you're not paying, you're programmed to only select the cheapest thing. My friend's mom said you sure like hot dogs. That's all you order no matter where we go to eat. I learned these things because I expected that they'd try to pay for me, and if I lost the no I'll pay for it battle, then at least I wouldn't be gouging them. I still hate letting others pay for me though. I feel like a moocher, comma. Outdated technology. When I started college, one of my professors asked if anyone in our class remembered how you changed a channel on the TV before remote controls. I was the only person in the room who remembered turning dials and adjusting rabbit ears despite being one of the youngest students in the class, because my family had a TV from the 70s until 1995. Same sort of thing with computers, phones, etc. If we had it at all, we got something much later than anyone else, after it got cheaper, and bought used. I got my first computer in 1999. It had Windows 3.1 and that was what I used until I was able to use my financial aid to get a new PC tower for college. Same. When I was little had no idea my family was abysmally poor till I was maybe 25ish and realized all our kitchen gadgets were from the 20s to 60s. I'm 44 BTW. How important ingenuity becomes to eat. Mom could make a bag of potatoes last 2 weeks amongst 5 kids, her and my dad. Rice, butter, and sugar was a breakfast food. Biscuits lasted days, retoasted butter and brown sugar for dinner, etc. I truly had no idea until I was in my junior year of high school taking child development that Head Start was a program created for children from homes of low income. I simply thought it was a place for me to get a head start as a kid. I still remember my teacher saying verbatim, "No honey, your family was just poor," in front of the whole class. When someone breaks into your house but doesn't take anything. Happened once. Still think it's funny. Poignant. Thief realizes he's not as desperate as the people who live there. Cockroaches are killed by baking soda. You develop an appreciation for hand-me-down clothes when they come your way. Yes, because they were usually still in style and clean. My mom could somehow cook 2 chickens on a Sunday and feed 6 people all week. Towards the end it was more just corn chowder cooked in chicken stock, but it was dinner. Also we kept a garden. You didn't work the garden. You didn't eat. Sit down on a summer evening. Better have a bowl in your lap and be shelling, stringing, or shucking something. Feed the hulls to the neighbor's pig because she'll save a ham for us. I had pigs and I went dumpster diving to get some tasty treats for them sometimes. I'd feed them a bunch of donuts and other bakery stuff. Camping is only fun when you've never had to do it out of necessity. My cheapskate boss told me it was a lifestyle choice. You can live on strawberry powder, Nesquik and water for 3 days. I had the same diet at the worst part of my life. I realized it was fricked up and I had to move on. Man, that was a painful moment. I hope you are better now, colon. Anything shiny on the ground might be a coin. Can still spot a penny on the sidewalk half a block away. The one thing I don't know from growing up poor is how the frick a dishwasher works. Not being able to do extracurriculars. I wanted to be in orchestra and I wanted to play soccer, but we couldn't afford it, so I was told no. Couldn't afford the uniforms or the gas to get me to practice, and definitely couldn't afford a violin. I ended up moving to a largely upper middle class area for college. First boyfriend was rich. He played 9 instruments and played soccer and went skiing since age 6. He voiced that he thought I was lazy and untalented for not having done at least a sport or learned something like guitar. I explained that we couldn't afford it, but that didn't seem to register. He tried to give me his old violin at one point so I could learn, and his mother pretty much ripped it out of my hands. Your dad asking you for $20 so he can go to work for the week, but he'll pay you back when he gets paid. Yeah, my dad would randomly give me $5 every month or 2 months. Sometimes I saved it up and it always hurt when he needed $20 for gas. I didn't get mad though because it was his money originally. How to keep a 7-year-old from knowing she's poor. My mom used to take my brother and I to the soup kitchen every week to volunteer. We must always be kind to those less fortunate, she'd say. Then, after volunteering, oh, it's so late and I don't feel like cooking. Let's just eat here while we're here. The feeling of not eating for a day or sometimes days. My longest drought was 3 days with no food. Sucks because people make crappy comments about how nice it must be to be so skinny and they have to struggle to keep their weight down. Like, be poor. Go a few days without food and your body just starts to eat itself. I'm thankful I haven't missed a day to eat in 10 years. But I still can't fathom eating 3 meals in one day. I'm hungry. Drink some water. We were probably the best hydrated children at school, Mayo. But I think the thing I appreciate most is the independence I've gained through fixing things to keep them going, or from just not wanting to ask my parents for help when I know they're struggling too. It's kind of funny to me that a weight loss tip is to drink a glass of water when you feel hungry and wait a few minutes before actually eating. A bunch of times, when you feel hungry, you are actually thirsty. How to get the most out of food. My mum grew up poor with 6 siblings and nothing went to waste. You have more of a tendency to be generous, I think. I grew up dirt poor with like 2 pieces of clothing to my name, and most of our meals came from the food bank or from donations from the church my parents attended. Still, my mom mostly would not hesitate to help someone worse off than us. Also, you learn how to have fun for free. Kid me thought that getting to use the free desktop computers at the library and going to the park were the best things ever. You go to bed early to skip a meal. Sleep for dinner. I remember my mom donating plasma and getting groceries on the same day. It didn't occur to me that that was how she was paying for the small amount of food. We used those plastic milk cartons for TV dinner tables and end tables. Meals included top ramen, fried bologna sandwiches that were sometimes just fried mustard sandwiches because we had no meat, white rice with butter and sugar. I also remember the power going out and there wasn't a storm, so we had a family camp out in the living room and cooked on an old camp stove. 1. How to do everything without money. Laundry gets done in the sink, walking is cheaper than the bus, a shower is cheaper than TP, torn clothes can be mended. 2. Money isn't everything. 3. Giving when you have extra is the best way to stay afloat in times of need. Thanks for the gold, guys. Back to school clothes aren't an option. You don't throw away burnt toast, you scrape it. You only flush if you went number 2. Eating out of boredom is a luxury. Churches and organizations can make your Christmas happen, although you'll mostly get necessities, shoes, underwear, winter coat, shampoo, etc. Poor kids should just be happy someone cares enough. We aren't given normal gifts. Having to help your single mum earn money by doing odd jobs that involved being embarrassed because you were cleaning the houses of your schoolmates, delivering junk mail to their homes, buying things on the cheap from garage sales that end up being their homes, collecting things people put out for hard rubbish council collection on the street, etc. I had a chair that belonged to an older boy's family, and every couch we have had was off the street. Mum also used to go to open houses when she was dreaming about being able to move to a better place. And one time I discovered I was inside the room of a boy from my grade. Saw his picture on his desk, lol. The other time I was really embarrassed was when I had offered a girl in a younger grade a lift home. We had to do Tetris to fit her in the car. There were 20 plus packs of 36 roll toilet paper Mum had gotten on a massive sale from a factory outlet because they had packaging damage was squashed. We were 3 girls and Mum in the house. We went through a lot of loo roll, lol. The shame of everyone knowing. A good friend of mine invited me over for a sleepover. His folks were both lawyers. When I was leaving, the mom told me to not forget my duffel bag. I hadn't brought one with me. There was a duffel bag by the door with school supplies for me and my sisters, clothes that actually fit, and good shoes. I nearly broke down right there as I said I couldn't take it. His mom walked over and quietly told me I put myself through school and raised my siblings on welfare when our parents died. I understand why you are saying you can't take it, but this is for me because I had someone do it for me once. Take the dang bag. Lying to social services because your parents are working and collecting unemployment. Thanks Reddit. I am now dying inside. Yeah, collecting aid, plus cleaning swimming pools for less than minimum wage because it's cash under the table. American ramen tastes better than Nissan ramen. Yeah, for a treat. Sapporo Ichiban is best. I buy chicken leg quarters, which cost less than lettuce. Heck, they are often cheaper than potatoes. A drumstick, some cabbage, garlic, and green onion, and a bowl of American becomes a great meal. You learn about sliced bread spread with margarine and sprinkled with sugar as a sweet treat. Not going to school because you have no food and you have no money to buy food. How to unfreeze copper water pipes with a blow dryer and then how to use a soldering iron to fix the split in the pipe. How to boil down snow so you have the ability to have water to wash up with when the above mentioned task is unsuccessful. My mom would wrap what presents we got using old newspaper and magazine paper. She's tailor the pages to look pretty or refer to a joke or hint at the present inside. We thought it was normal. It didn't occur to me until I was an adult. That is actually really thoughtful and way better than wrapping paper anyway. This is the Money Dog upvote. In the next 24 hours and money will come your way. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.